bloody farce at the Capitol. A skull-crushing attempt at a coup. It was a dark and stormy night, and the Trump mob had come to the Capitol building with their pitchforks and torches, ready to disrupt the peaceful transfer of power. As soon as they arrived, the Capitol Police scrambled to barricade the doors, but it was too late. The mob had already begun to tear down the barricades, and a sea of bloodthirsty patriots flooded the halls. "This is an affront to democracy," shouted Speaker Pelosi, her face flushed with rage. "You all will be held accountable for this, I assure you." "Oh please," sneered President Trump as he pushed his way through the mob. "You can't stop me, Nancy. I am your president and I have a right to lead my people." Senator Schumer stepped forward, confronting Trump face to face. "You have no right to lead these people in an attempted coup. This is a disgrace." "You're the disgrace," Trump bellowed. "My people and I are here to take back the Capitol, as it is written in the book of Revelations." As the mob surged forward, Vice President Mike Pence bravely stepped forward, brandishing a giant flagpole. He raised it above his head and shouted, "Not today, Trump. Not today." Unfortunately for Pence, his bravery was short-lived. As he raised the flagpole, it slipped from his grasp and hit him square in the butt. He groaned in pain and collapsed to the ground, incapacitated and surrounded by a pile of skulls. Meanwhile, Melania Trump watched from the sidelines, a look of contempt on her face. "You can't win this, Donald," she said coldly. "This is a battle you cannot win." Suddenly, a small orange kitty cat padded into the room, gave a loud meow, and then promptly curled up and went to sleep. Maggie was unfazed by the chaos. The mob quickly dispersed, leaving President Trump alone and seething with rage. He had failed. As Pence was loaded onto a stretcher, he managed a weak smile. "Well," he said, "at least I'm still standing, with a flagpole up my butt. I'm sure I'll remember this day every time I sit down." The Capitol Hill riot had come to a close, and the peaceful transfer of power had been secured, for now. But one thing was certain: President Trump had been dealt a major blow, and he wouldn't give up without a fight. The next morning, President Trump stood in front of the mirror in the White House bathroom, a defeated look on his face. He had been so sure that he could take back the Capitol and stay in power, but he had been wrong. He slowly raised his hands to his face and gave himself a long, hard look. He had never felt so embarrassed and humiliated before. He had been outsmarted by a flagpole-wielding vice president, and it was all his own fault. "Stupid, stupid, stupid," he muttered to himself. "What was I thinking?" He thought of the humiliation he had suffered at the hands of his own people, and the anger and resentment that had bubbled up inside of him. And then he thought of the orange kitty cat that had calmly walked into the middle of the chaos and forced everyone to take a step back from the brink. In that moment, he finally realized that no matter how powerful he thought he was, there were some things he could never control. He had been foolish to think otherwise. "My own stupidity put an end to this," he said, his voice heavy with resignation. He sighed and walked away from the mirror, knowing that he had learned an important lesson. He would never make the same mistake again. As he left the bathroom without washing his hands, he couldn't help but smirk at the memory of Vice President Pence moaning in pain as the flagpole hit him in the butt. I think he was enjoying it, he said to himself with a chuckle. The end.